In life, we all encounter obstacles, and those obstacles come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. The question is, how do we handle those obstacles? Do we attack them head on, or do we allow them to make us quit? Welcome to the No Quit Living podcast, where we aim to motivate and inspire listeners to never give up on themselves, their dreams, or their goals. We will interview successful people from all walks of life as they share their no-quit stories when they had the choice to give up or give in, but they didn't. We thank you for listening, and we hope to be that jolt of positivity as you go for your greatness. Welcome to episode number 235 of the No Quit Living podcast. I'm your host, Christopher J. Worth, and today's theme of the day is being positive. Our quote of the day comes to us from Billy Porter. For me, life is all about being positive and hopeful, choosing to be joyful, choosing to be encouraging, choosing to be empowering. Today's episode is sponsored by the good people over at West Fair Communications, who publish the Westchester County Business Journal and the Fairfield County Business Journal. These newspapers do a wonderful job in covering all aspects of the business world within two of the most influential markets in the New York metropolitan area. You can also take advantage of their daily news feeds, which keep track on the companies and thought leaders in these important regions. For more information, take a look at www.westfaironline.com. Trust me, once you start reading, you won't quit. It is really an honor to bring you today's episode. I actually met our guest today from one of our past guests who was spreading some of our positivity notes and posted them on Instagram. Chip Baker is a fourth-generation educator, and he is paying it forward today for others, both in the classroom, on the field, and in the court. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Chip, I'd like to welcome you to the No Quit Living podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm thankful to be here. And I think what you do is amazing. And I'm just humbled and honored to have the opportunity to talk with you.
I appreciate it. So first question I ask everybody is, are you ready to bring it today?
Hey, I don't know if anybody knows, but my one of my slogans on my YouTube channel podcast is "Go Get It." And I'm all about that. So let's go.
All right. So as you know from the show, the number one objective is to both motivate and inspire our listeners to never give up. And I was curious if you had a no-quit story of your own, or perhaps a really challenging time that tested you where you could have given up or given in, but you didn't.
Well, I think for me, we can look at it every day as a no-quit moment, really, because life is tough. But, big deal for me one time in college. I had a moment, first experience in college, and, it's tough. Any toughest thing I ever went through, and had a moment where I had to really reflect and look within and, realize that I had, people looking up to me back home, kids looking up to me. My parents and family made sacrifices for me to be there. And, I put in the hard work, and really, from looking within that, like, I couldn't quit because I had people depending on me, and from there, just to the fact that I made that decision to not quit has allowed me to go on and achieve some amazing things in my life. Of course, play the sport, of course, get my college degree, going to be a teacher coach, and the list goes on and on. But just, that moment sticks out for me because I think it was kind of a turning point in my life.
Speaking of turning point, I wanted to just ask if you wouldn't mind just telling our listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do today.
Well, Chip Baker, I am a teacher, coach. I've been doing that for 20 years. I'm a fourth generation educator. So I've been blessed and fortunate to be raised by some amazing people, as well as being around some awesome folks in my career and in my hometown and my college, wherever I've been, to learn from. And my YouTube channel is Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles, and I interview people from all walks of life and share their stories for inspiration and motivation.
Now, you knew that I wouldn't not go into what you do with your show, and having the honor of being a guest on your show. I'm so excited that I get to return the favor today, but wanted to just kind of pick your brain from the perspective of why you got into, or what led you to get into sharing other people's success stories. Because I think for me personally, I love to learn from other people, whether it's videos, whether it's books, whether it's different types of platforms. So just wanted to get your perspective on what you do with the Success Chronicles.
So my first why was to show appreciation. Just like I said, I've been blessed to be around some great people, and so for me, I've had amazing conversations all the time with folks. People looking out for me, mentoring me, helping me. So I just got to a point where I was like, man, I can't be selfish. I got to share this with some people. And that's kind of where it kind of all started from. But just like you said, I'm an avid learner. I love learning and finding ways to improve and get better to help me be the best version of myself. And so I get to talk to great people all the time. And then the bigger picture, and a long time ago, I learned in my life that it ain't about me, right? So, I think the sooner we can learn that, the quicker we'll soar to higher heights. And so, it's really not about me. Yes, I'm getting to learn, but the bigger picture is sharing it to help make our world a better place. I'm just trying to do my small part in the ripple effect of making our world a better place.
I love that, and I think it's so true. And I wanted to just jump back to something you said in the prior answer. Is not sure if our listeners heard, but a fourth generation educator, and I think that's really cool because whether you teach one specific grade or one specific class, you're giving back and you're paying it forward. And the fact that you're a fourth generation, I just wanted to commend you on that because I think that it's really remarkable. And a question I love to ask is if you had to define yourself, but you could only use one word, what word would you pick?
Consistent.
I like that.
Consistent. You see, there was no hesitation in that, right? Like I didn't even need the time in between when you asked me. I was just waiting for you to fit consistent.
I'm going to edit the show, so I'll make it seem like it was really long pause and it took you a long time to ask. No, I think that answer and that word is so key, and whether you're a coach, actual sports or business, or whether you're an educator in the sense of doing it for your job or in networking or whatever it is you do, I think being consistent is one of, if not the most important things in any area of life, because things and people that
Yes.
are consistently do it each and every day, especially those days or those times when you don't want to do it. But that's when you need to do it even more so than not.
Oh, without a doubt.
The word success is something, and I know we spoke on your show, but I wanted to flip the script on you and get your definition of success, or what does success mean to you?
To me, I think first off, success. Everybody has their own personal definition of success because I think it stems from your own personal happiness, right? And then from there, I think at different stages of our life, success has different definitions for us. But for me, where I am at this moment in my life, I think it's personal happiness. I think it's the ability to do the things that you enjoy doing and making a positive difference and having fulfillment in your life. And so to me, that's what success is.
I love that word fulfillment. So many people have used that in some way within their definition. And I think it's important because it's not about money. It's not about success in that regard. Now, it's important, don't get me wrong, but I think the
Right.
fulfillment point comes along with being happy and really being content where you are in life. So as an educator, I gotta ask you if you've read something recently or perhaps you're reading something now that you'd like to recommend to our listeners.
Oh my gosh. John Maxwell, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. There's a number of books, any John Gordon books, The Magic of Thinking Big. But man, that John Maxwell, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, it's a life changer.
Now, have you read a lot of John stuff, or what really stands out from that book?
Yes, I have. I've read a few of his books. Probably not all 200 or 300 of them, but I've read several of his books. But for me, what sticks out is I think to be great at anything and to be able to live a legacy, not leave a legacy. Like I think everybody wants to leave a legacy, but I think when you make the actions to grow each day, and you take those actions every day and make an impact every day, you live a legacy, right? Which allows you to be even greater because you've maximized your potential when you get to go visit the big man. But to me, it just allows that book, the traits in there, it allows you to look within and help you be the best version of yourself. And I'm a simple guy. So, I mean, it gives checklists, it gives like detail, just step by step on some processes and systems, that he's used in his life. And I think it's very beneficial.
Yeah, I love John C. Maxwell. I'm a big fan of his work, and I think to just follow up what you said is a lot of his stuff is very simplistic, and I don't mean simplistic as far as easy to write or easy as far as his studies and what he does, but easy to do in the sense of there's a step-by-step process of, okay, to get this, you need to do this, and if you want to get to that objective, go by step 1 and then step 2. So I think it's important. So interesting question that in regards to going back, and I know we had some really good conversations on your show, but if you could go back and give the 20-year-old version of yourself one piece of advice, what would you tell the 20-year-old Chip?
Man, that's a good question. I like that. I think I would tell the 20-year-old Chip, you're going to be all right. What you're doing will work for you in the future. So just keep pushing.
I think that's great advice. And I think as a 20-year-old or 18-year-old or even a 30-year-old in some ways, you want to know that you're going to be okay. And I think that's the biggest challenge. It's the fear of is this going to work out? Is this decision? Is this relationship? Is this business? And right. I think obviously it's good advice because at that time you don't know if it's going to, but obviously being able to go back and give that advice, it's something that I think we probably all could use at the age of 20.
Oh, without a doubt. I think now in the phase that I'm in now with my life, as far as the give back phase, the show love, make a difference. And I've always been that, but like I'm really, really focused in on it, personal growth, to be able to make a positive difference. But I think really our foundation is the key. And like I said at the beginning of the interview, I've been blessed to be around great people that help me have a strong faith foundation, a firm foundation of core principles, and as you live a life, and this is something within the last couple of weeks I've kind of been looking back on and reflecting on, really those same common core principles that I learned as a kid, like none of them have gone out of style, and they're the same things that I still use in my life as a 44-year-old. And so it's amazing.
44. You don't look a day over than 43.
Thank you.
You just said something that I want to just dissect for a second. Is you talked about surrounding and being around really good people, and I think I can't echo what you said enough. Is I'm extremely fortunate to have had some mentors in my life, some amazing accountability partners, both personally, professionally, even in the sports world. I just wanted to get your perspective for a second on the real and true importance of surrounding yourself with those good people, the right people, similar, like-minded, but then maybe get your perspective on what you would recommend to our listeners if you have someone's people that maybe are not bringing you up, and how do you kind of spend a little bit less time with those and more time with the people that really bring you up?
Yeah, one word, run. I think, the environment, your environment and your choices equal who we are and our output of what we put out, right? I think, everything that you're around, anybody that you're around affect who you are. And me, I like to tell people, my blood type is B positive. And so, I'm going to remain positive. I'm going to stay positive. And I don't, there's some people that have the blood type O negative, and so you have to stay from around that, put yourself in the right environments. And it's important to do that. And what's crazy is when you, like I've talked about focusing in on being the best version of myself and all of that stuff. What's crazy is when you live a life that you're truly focused on being the best version of yourself, you eliminate distractions. You organically eliminate those O negatives because you're hyper focused on what your goals and your dreams are.
I have to just dive a little bit deeper, and I know you knew I was going to do this, but the B positive blood type is so awesome, and I love that versus the O negative, and I just have to get you to where did you come up with that, or where did you hear that first? Because I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you. I know I heard it somewhere. I can't quote where I heard. I don't remember, but it's so true. Just I don't know. Just make the choice every moment of every day to be positive and try to do things the right way. Uh, you know, none of us are perfect. We're all gonna make mistakes. But the important thing is within the effort to be the best version of yourself and to be positive. Um, I don't know. You achieve great things, and that to me, that's what it's all about.
You've said the words to be the best version of yourself probably 3 or 4 times, and I say that quite often myself, and it goes back to a term that you used earlier, which is personal development. I think it falls along some of the stigma, I think, of the self help component, and I just want to express quickly to the listeners. I think there's something that's very significantly different with the self help concept versus the personal development, and I don't think one is
Mm.
better than the other. But I think, like you said, is you're always looking to, I think, improve certain things and to become that quote unquote best version of yourself. And I think nobody ever gets there, and it's not a place you get to or a time you get to, but I think it's always just trying to become that better version of yourself. And having just turned 41 myself recently, I'd like to say and like to hope that the best is to come, which is why you always try to be the best version of yourself. But what got you initially onto the whole personal development movement? Was it something that you were taught? Was it something that you were coached or read, or how did you kind of get all into what you're doing today?
I think first, initially, started out as a young guy. I just wanted to make my family proud. You know, I just knew that I needed to make the right decisions to make them proud. And then, as I grew a little bit older, just like in sports, it's a self competition thing. Okay, so I've achieved this. Well, you know, I'm enjoying it, but hey, like let's get better. Let's see what else I can do. And so that's kind of the perspective I take on everything in my life. I want to be like, it's unacceptable for me to not give my all to everything I do. Like that's unacceptable, right? Like I can't live with that, and so I'm not gonna live with that. And so I think the big picture of really knowing that there is people depending on me. There's two phases to that. First there's people depending on me, so I can't have bad days, can't have off days. There's people depending on me, so I have to push through. And then the second phase of that is, um, I think it builds consistency when you work that way, because uh, you're consistently improving, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and I think that's the biggest challenge is always improve. And for me, I track a lot of things, and we have our daily 2 pager that we talk about. We use quite often with our clients. I think you can always improve on little things, and I think when you talk about the word that you describe yourself, which is consistency, is the most successful people in all walks of life. They make those consistent improvements day in and day out, week and week. It's not done overnight, and it's not done in a 2 or 3 day period. It's every single day, every single week, every single month, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you add up
Yep.
those good weeks, turns into good months turn into good years, and all of a sudden you have that change.
And I have a principle that I apply in my life that I use to help with that. You mind if I share that?
Oh, please do.
So I call it the SHG principle, and it's a personal thing that I've created, that I like within, that I do every day in my life. And the athletes that I'm blessed to coach for the last few years, it's something was the expectation. So, there's a lot of things that we have to do in our life that we have to accomplish. But I think if we really hone in and focus on these three things, it will allow us to maximize our potential. And you really just explained it when you said about good days, good month, good weeks, good months, good years. It's the same thing. But if you can SHG every day, then I think you get to that as well. So the first thing, the S, is show up. If you signed up for something, have your butt there. Be intentional. Be aware of what's going on in the situation. Show up. And if you're not able to show up, communicate effectively to let the people know that you're not. So show up, be aware, and in the moment, be present in the moment. Principles over feelings underneath that. Regardless of how you feel, the principle is like, we're going to work hard. We're going to do things the right way. We're going to take care of business. So that's show up. H, have a great attitude. We know the two things that we can control is our attitude and our effort. So gratitude is the attitude that determines our altitude. I'm going to say that again. Gratitude is the attitude that determines our altitude. And so when we are thankful, and I'm gonna hit you with a John Gordon as well. He said, studies show you can't be grateful and stressed at the same time. So the more we can be grateful for what we have, what we're blessed to achieve, and a blessed experience, the higher we'll soar. And then G is give your all. Some days we may only have 75 or 80%, but if we give our all every day, then we improve. So show up, have a great attitude, give your all. And just like you said, if I do that today, I got better today. If I do that tomorrow, I get better tomorrow. And just like you say, you stack your days, your weeks, your months, your years. And just like I said, you will have lived a legacy, which will allow you to leave an amazing legacy.
I love those principles because they're something that everybody can do. And when
right.
Being a sports guy, the reality is I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be 6'10". The reality
right.
is you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be able to throw 102 mile an hour fastball. But the reality is that both of us, we can show up tomorrow where we're supposed to be.
Yep.
We can have a great attitude. And
yep.
And I think the best thing that I took too, what you just said is we can give our all. And you were very specific, as it doesn't mean going 100 miles an hour every single day. You might be having a tough day mentally or emotionally or physically. You might not be able to do the same thing as you did a week ago. But if it's only 75%, then give your 100% of that 75%. And I think when what you talked about is you didn't use the words perfection. You didn't use the words never fail, never miss. What you did is you talked about showing up, having a great attitude, and giving your all, which, as I said, are things that everybody can do. So I'm curious to get your answer on this one because it's kind of a little different question. But if I gave you the opportunity to have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would you pick?
Martin Luther King Jr.
So you didn't pause there either.
No, like I'm consistent, man. That's 2 for 2. I didn't pause on the consistency. I didn't pause on the MLK. I think he was such a great man. And I'm all about, celebrating our differences. I think it's beauty in that. And, I don't care who you are. We all want to be loved and, want to be, felt that we have community together. I don't know. I just think he's achieved some amazing things, and I would love to just hang out with him. I'd probably be so in awe. I don't even know what I'd say just to be there.
I think you'd get into the conversation and it would probably just be a fun conversation. You and I actually met on social media, which is kind of cool. And I know in today's day and age, we're able to see so many people in different ways via social media. And I was curious if there's anyone famous or not famous that you look up to today via social media. And if so, why?
Oh, man. E.T., Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson. I think those are great guys that have gone through some things that some people would use as excuses, but they've turned their pain that they've gone through into their purpose, which has fueled their passion. And so, and those guys are just, every time you hear them speak, every time you see them, like it's great. And I would love to, that's who I would follow or love to hang with.
So why don't you jump over into what we call our hot seat questions. And the only thing we ask is that you just spit out the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Favorite sport?
Football.
Favorite team?
Aggies.
Favorite smell?
Ooh, steak and baked potato.
All-time favorite movie?
Coming to America.
If you could pick absolutely anything for your last meal, what would you pick?
Steak and baked potato.
Favorite book?
Ooh, Quiet Strength, Tony Dungy.
Favorite band or group or singer?
Favorite band or group or singer? Oh, man. I'm going to go Drake.
Okay. Do you have a favorite quote?
Does it have to? Could it be mine or somebody else's?
It could be. There's no rules. The hot seat questions. Whatever you answer, it's you.
All right, here we go. It's me. Live, learn, serve, inspire. Go get it.
I like it. Go get it. So, before we wrap up here, I wanted to ask you, what's the best way for our listeners to not only connect with you or follow you, but also please tell them where they can find your show as well.
So, YouTube channel, podcast is Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles. So you can go on the YouTube and search it there. Any podcast platform, you can find it. Just search it there. And I'm on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, on all social media as Chip Baker, TSC. And so just go check it out. The usual thing that people say, like, follow, subscribe. I'd love for you to do that. But just like I said in the interview, it's not about me. And so it's a bigger picture here. So if you see something that you like on there, positive inspiration and motivation, please share it with someone in your life to help make a difference, a positive difference to them. And that's all I ask.
I love that. And I think that's so in line with what we talk about all the time, is just pay it forward in some way, shape, or form to somebody else. So last question is, if you have any parting words you'd like to leave with our listeners.
Parting words. I'm going to go back to my last quote. And this is my tagline in my YouTube channel. And every time I say these words, it gives me chills because there's meaning behind all of it. And it's personal meaning and personal experiences behind every word for me. So first, live. I think it's important to live a life where you're not afraid to go experience and do some things. Live. Okay. And when you do that, you learn. You learn lots about yourself. You learn lots about the world. You learn lots about the people around you. And when you live and learn, it's important to take those experiences and serve. Give back to people because you've been blessed to achieve those experience those great experiences. So serve, give back. And as you're doing that, as you're living, learning, serving, and going through tough things in your life, because none of us are immune from going through tough things, it's inspiring. Little do you know, the things that you're going through, it's inspiring to others. And so just want to send some encouragement. Live, learn, serve, inspire. And then the last thing is the mentality. We have to understand that you and only you control your destiny. And when you decide that you can control your destiny, you have to have the go get it mindset, because nothing is going to come to you. You have to go make it happen. So the last thing is go get it.
I love it. Live, learn, serve, inspire, and go get it. Chip, my man, I cannot thank you enough for not only sharing what you did, but being on the show. And I know that you and I will connect again soon, but thank you again for being here.
Oh, without a doubt. So I just want to say, also thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be on your show. I consider it an honor and a privilege, and I truly believe in what you do. I think what you do is awesome. And like I said, I'm just thankful to be a part of your platform. So thanks for the opportunity.
I appreciate it, my man, and have a great rest of your day. We will talk again soon.
All right, go get it.
Thank you for listening to episode number 235. I absolutely love when Chip described his blood type as B positive. He shared some really great things with us on today's episode, especially some of his principles. I loved his SHG principles: show up, be present, have a great attitude, and give your all. Principles that we can all apply, and principles that I think our country needs today desperately. Chip left us with some very powerful parting words. Live, learn, give back to others, and inspire. So as you go for your greatness today, remember to live, try to learn, and as we always recommend, do something for somebody else just because. And when you are given the opportunity today, aim to inspire and encourage somebody else to keep going. And lastly, to our listeners, thank you. We truly appreciate your time, and we hope our episodes inspire you to keep on attacking life and never giving up. To quote Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, it's always too early to quit.